Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. Thanks for listening. If you haven't given us a follow or given us a review yet, we would really appreciate that from you. We have a great guest today. We have Deonna Wylie from Cola Rosé Shower, which is an amazing nonprofit group based out of South Carolina that helps women who don't have feminine products, and a third of students right now don't have access to feminine products. And she's talking about what she does for it, some of the big events that she throws to fundraise for it, and all the other details of her nonprofit. So we hope you enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom as always, and we have a great show for you today. We have Deonna Wylie from Cola Rosé Shower. And
is it Rosé?
Rosé. It's okay. It happens.
I was so worried about getting your name right that I got the business name wrong.
It's okay.
Cola Rosé Shower.
Yes.
And you can find her on Instagram, Cola Rosé, R-O-S-E with the apostrophe above it.
Not on Instagram. It's just Cola Rose.
Oh, Cola Rose.
So you were right for the Instagram handle.
Okay. That's... and your bio says, so there's like pink flowers all over it, and it says, celebrating women, bringing awareness to women's healthcare and period poverty.
Yes. So essentially...
Tom knows what that...
No. Well, I mean, I study periods, but not period poverty.
Yeah, that's a term that I don't know much about.
A lot of people actually don't know what it is, or they didn't know that it existed. So that's one of the things that we highlight with the shower. So period poverty means that 1 in 3 women actually experience it in their lifetimes in the United States, and 1 in 4 students can't afford period products. So they come to school without those products. They have to get those products from their teachers, their nurses, or their friends. So unfortunately, it is a huge situation.
So period poverty, just for clarity, means
that
you don't have enough money to buy feminine products,
Correct.
Not that you don't get your period.
Correct. That means that they don't have the means to be able to purchase, or they have to substitute the products, or they have to substitute, like they can't afford period products. So the necessities of food and things like that take precedence over that. So unfortunately, they miss days of work, they miss days of school, and it keeps them in this cycle of poverty because they don't have the means to be able to have these products that they need.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is.
So
I don't even know
I'm not sure where to go. So I have an 11-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Or almost 11. So we're talking about it all the time. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen to your body. This is this is how your body changes at this certain point. Which I know a lot of parents in the older generation didn't even really talk about it with their kids. They found it out just by either it happening or maybe someone from school or an older sister. So we've been really diligent about making sure like this is a conversation that's constantly happening. And we just got a puppy, and when she hit 6 months, she went into heat, and she started bleeding, and we had to do like the diaper thing, or the doggy diaper thing. And it was so funny because I didn't know if she fully comprehended like what it meant. My daughter fully comprehended until we were sitting in the car one day, and she was like, "Dad, you know what's funny is that Luna's at the same stage of life as I'm about to be at."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, she does understand. So I think the conversation with 10 and 11-year-olds, at least about what's happening to their body and that, or what's going to happen, they're fully capable of understanding it and knowing what's going to happen if someone discusses it with them.
Yes, and that's part of the thing that we do with the Cola Rosé Shower. We normalize the conversation on women's health care because conversations on women's health care is so taboo. People don't feel comfortable having these conversations, and whether it's breast cancer, ovarian cancer, menopause, infertility issues, fibroids, endometriosis, like so many women deal with so many struggles, with so many issues with their bodies, but they feel like they're on an island by themselves because the conversation is just so taboo. So that's part of what we do, is normalizing the conversation and educating and empowering women.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, 1 in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, 1 in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and 1 in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
Love that. So what inspired you to go down this pathway?
So I never intended to have my own nonprofit. I've always been involved in our community, sitting on other boards and helping other nonprofits with their mission. I have my own personal story. When I was in my 20s, 26, 25, I was diagnosed with fibroids. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yeah.
But it's something that pretty much affected my daily life. It got to the point to where my quality of life was severely affected. It was a journey for 10 plus years. I had lots of surgeries, lots of treatments, everything in a book that you could think of the doctors did, but nothing worked for me except for surgeries. So it got to the point where after my third procedure, I was bleeding a lot, and I was constantly buying period products in the Target aisle. So I actually learned about period poverty from the side of a Kotex box. And then I dug more into it, found out more, and I was just like, I'm blessed that I'm able to, purchase these products, but there's so many women who can't do that. And when I had to have my hysterectomy, because the doctors were like verbatim, like, get a hysterectomy and get your life back, because it was to the point to where I could barely survive through a day. I was anemic, my hair is breaking off, my skin, like everything. I didn't feel like myself. It's, creates depression, a lot of, challenges. So afterward, I kind of just wanted to I always try to look at the positive side of things and what the 10 years, that journey gave me, the strength and resilience, and not necessarily what it took away from me. So I just wanted to embrace that new stage in my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a party. And speaking of puppies, I was like, if people can have puppy showers, well, I can have a rosé shower. And I realized that, I most likely will never have a baby shower. And so that was a big hard pill for me to swallow. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have a rosé shower. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to drink, because there's a lot of things that I couldn't do. Like, it affected my clothing. My stomach was the size of a 6-month pregnancy every time I had a surgery, because the fibroids were so enlarged and it made me look like I was pregnant. So it changed the way that I dressed. I was kind of trying to conceal all of that. And so I was like, well, I'll get to wear half my wardrobe again now. And I was like, I just want to celebrate. So I invited about 50 friends and family, and I was like, it's a rosé shower. And in lieu of me receiving gifts, everyone bring period products, and we'll donate them to Sistercare Women's Shelter. Because I've done so much with United Way, they are a partner agency, and I called them, and they were like, absolutely, that's something that we always need, that people never think about or forget about.
Right.
So that's how it started, and it literally was all God. I was looking for a venue space, and I was just going to have it at a clubhouse. They had just had a graduation party that had a little too much fun, and they were like, we're not doing parties anymore right now. So I had to find a venue. In the last second, I came across 2001 at Williams-Brice Stadium, and I fell in love with this space, and I went back and told my family and my friends, and they were like, what? You're doing what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a rosé shower at the 2001 club at Williams-Brice Stadium. And I was like, and everyone wear pink, because it's a color strength, but also because if you see me on a daily basis, you know that I'm always in black. I'm never very colorful. So it was kind of like an inside joke with my friends and I. We were like, you'll get to see me in pink. So that's pretty much how it started. And then afterwards, people found out about it, and they were like, this is amazing. You need to make it a thing. So it became an annual rosé shower. Of course, we have open bar rosé and frosé and other fun things, but it's a celebration for women. So whether any woman in their healthcare journey, like I said, cancer, endometriosis, fibroids, infertility, menopause, the whole realm, it's a place for us to feel celebrated and come there and feel like they're listened to.
And you're wearing all brown today.
I am.
Because you're on Columbia's hottest podcast, so you decided to wear
I know,
something
I
different.
wanted to blend in with your couch.
Oh, I love that. You knew what you were getting into.
Now, do men go to this or are allowed
They
to come to this?
absolutely do. We
Nice.
encourage men to come because you guys are fathers, your significant others, your sons. So, and you're also the ones that are sitting at tables that we don't have seats at. So we need for you to be educated and come back and advocate and learn.
Yeah, and I guess kind of walk us through what the event is like. You show up, you bring products, and then kind of, for those that have never been and we want to encourage them to come, what would that look like?
Absolutely. So you show up in your pink, any shade of pink, and it's that we actually moved to the Traditions Club of Williams-Brice Stadium last year because we sold out a 2001 club. So now we're in Traditions Club, and it's a day party. We start at 3 p.m. and we have DJ CJTO. It's an amazing time. Women and men coming together. We talk a little bit. I cry a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like I cry.
Gotta have a little bit of that.
We eat good. We drink, like I said, it's an open bar, the whole party. And the stadium lights actually turn pink. So we're the first ones to ever turn Williams-Brice Stadium lights pink. Wow. So they're actually pink, and we go out on a terrace. We do like a big photo op every year. And we just celebrate and have a great time.
How long does it go till? Is it
till 7 p.m.?
Wow.
Sometimes a little longer for the people that like to stay and still be on the dance floor.
So when you're collecting, this is a place where you collect products, or is it just a fundraiser?
So everyone brings feminine products to the event, and we collect them for Sistercare and the Period Project. We actually started partnering with them 2 years ago. So this last year, for the third annual Cola Rosé Shower, we collected over 48,000 products. And the Sistercare CEO and the Period Project CEO both there at the event, and they take all the products that night. So you actually can see the impact that you're making, and that's what's important for me, for you to be able to have not just an amazing experience, but also see the impact that you're creating in these women's lives. And by Tuesday morning, they're already distributed to the churches, the schools, the shelters, and everywhere else that need to go to.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you can bring tampons, pads, K-cups.
No.
Or not. What are they? What are they? Are they called K-cups?
I think those are the
They're
coffee.
called cups.
What are they called?
Cups, but we prefer no cups because with the shelters and with the others, no way for them to properly
dispose of it or dump it,
clean it for hygiene purposes.
So those are your two options, pretty much.
Tampons, pads. You can bring Motrin, hygiene wipes, things like that.
Oh.
Like wet wipes.
I don't know what hygiene.
Are those wet wipes?
Hygiene wipes, like for the body. Mm-hmm.
Those would be dude wipes. You have dude wipes, don't you?
I don't really use those, but I think I would just bring something standard. But there is a big movement too now. I mean, we're always out in the kind of natural healthcare world where the feminine products have a lot of dyes in them or a lot of different chemicals in them, and there's a big push now to take some of those chemicals out of them.
Yes.
Have you heard of that at all?
Yes, and there's some products that are more natural, just because, like I said, a lot of the products aren't possibly healthy, and then it can cause other issues too. So it's another big movement, like you said, to push for more healthy products and more organic or more clean things that we're inserting into our bodies for a period of time.
Yeah.
So when you were on this journey with your health, what age did you start noticing just changes? And then if you're comfortable speaking about, like, when did you have the hysterectomy, about how old were you, and what all did you try leading up to that?
Of course. So I was 25, and when I started having like pain and just I always had heavy periods since
since you remember, kind of thing.
Yeah. Ever since I was, I think, 11. So it's something that I was always challenged with. And then as I got older, in my 20s, I started having like more severe pain, and the cramping got worse. And so when I was going to my OBG, that's when they discovered my fibroids. And so usually they just monitor them for size purposes. And then once they get to the point where they get too large, and
Yeah.
then the first surgery that I had 14. So they ranged from the size of like a quarter to like a grapefruit.
Wow.
So that's why my stomach was,
To stand out, yeah.
mhm.
Did they talk? Are they talking cause at all? Like where is
So-
the medical world on cause
So
of these
that's
things?
another thing, and that's part of the reason why I'm normalizing the conversation, so we can get more research and get
Yeah.
make it women's health more of a priority, because there's been sometimes doctors would tell me that it could be hereditary, and sometimes doctors tell me that it's hormonal, and sometimes
Right.
they just don't know. The answer that I would get along the way was there's just not enough research.
Right.
So literally for 10 years plus, I felt like a guinea pig, because it was like, let's try this. If this doesn't work, let's try this.
Right.
If this doesn't work. So like every single treatment was like a glimpse of like hope for me, being like, oh, am I going to get my life back?
Right.
And so sometimes I get emotional talking
Yeah.
about it.
That's a lot. That's a heck of a burden, and it's amazing what God and you have turned this into to speak about this. When you said 1 in 3 women don't even have access to stuff, that's wild.
Yes.
Do you know what the stats are on women with, whether it's, I guess, anything in the reproductive health world? Like, what is the percentage of women dealing with something?
So actually it is 49% of women 18 through 64. That's almost half.
That's
And then,
crazy.
yeah, so
And is that just U.S. or is that worldwide or
US.
is that it's U.S.?
US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That was the latest, I think, research report as KFF Women's Survey did. And then that's 18 through 64. Age 41% 18 through 49. And then it increases in age. The percentage goes to 65% of women have issues that require monitoring or treatment ongoing from 50 to 65.
Wow.
what. Because I'm always curious about things like this. Here's our personal philosophy: is God designed us for health, meaning the body was designed to heal, and when it isn't, and when it's showing symptoms, signs, whether it's tumors, fibroids, pain, numbness, the body's talking to us, and it's saying something's disrupted from how I created you. And so I wonder, was there ever any like holistic stuff that you went down that pathway or explored, or was there anything that just felt logical? Like, and I say that in the sense that generally growing up when I was sick, the doctor's options were drugs and specialists until it's cut something out. Like, and I always think about that in the world that we're in now. Is I always try for our patients to think like, if we can avoid those at all costs, and not to say that sometimes that is the option, but I always want to think, what else is out there? What did you explore? What did you come across that maybe conventionally sounds crazy, like strange, weird, witchcrafty, whatever. I'm into all of that because I do think that there are some very fundamental things that get overlooked, and we're catching things in our conventional space way too late. Whereas, by the time you're 11 or you're starting to experience these heavy cycles, I would want the conversation to be like, all right, what does that look like before? What was Deonna's life before that? What was happening that led to something like that?
So I would say I think there's more emphasis on it now. I'm 39. I had my hysterectomy 3 years ago. I thought that I was done and my journey was over, but I'm still struggling with other healthcare issues now. That I'm going to the doctor probably every 4 months just for monitoring purposes. So I feel like it's always an ongoing issue. Like I said, when I was doing it 10 years ago, I was on an island by myself. There wasn't that many 20-something-year-olds that were going through the same thing that I was going through. So it wasn't like I had like a community or people I could talk to be like, have you tried this? Or does it affect this? I do know that it affects hormones and affects other things too. So like it can affect your vision. My vision is different from going through the different things. And our doctors will just say that hormones can affect your vision. when women are pregnant, it affects their vision, and sometimes it corrects itself back afterwards. So
Yeah.
I try with my diet for certain things because inflammation down there. But there's so many other things down there too. It can, affect GI. So it's constantly going to my GI, constantly going to my OB, and because things are so close together down there, sometimes one thing can trigger another. Or so it's just,
There was just so many yes, and I think that's what we're seeing more of in whether it's autoimmune or cancer or these things that feel like such a big thing to overcome and nobody to walk you through your journey. And so logically, we're working on a program even internally to just try and simplify health for the individual that's birthed into this world and the parents and a lot of things that get overlooked that I think need to be talked about is there's a hierarchy to how the body does heal and function. And if we base health on when your body's healing and functioning 100%, that's health, right? Anything less than that, you're heading towards death. Your body's starting to create dysfunction, which will lead to disease. But there's this window where it's like we feel good, we look good, and there's no symptoms. The blood work is not showing much, but we're still missing some things that we're breaking rules. And some of the things you mentioned, diet is a big one, but then there's so many things on diet. I think Randy touched on it, toxicities. There's things that are just so toxic that we either don't know about or have no other option because of our level of access to certain things. But I'll tell you, like the wild things that we've seen in practice that I just feel like God's wanting me to share on this is the nervous system is the main system of the body that controls every cell, every tissue, every organ. It never gets looked at when somebody is sick. What happens is wherever the problem is, you get a specialist for that. So whether it's reproductive, you're going to the specialist in that world. If it's GI, you're going to GI. If it's your heart, you're going to heart. But we know, and you can open up Grey's Anatomy, the nervous system controls everything. What drew me so into like chiropractic and the holistic world is it starts fundamentally with how well is the brain sending a signal to the part that's not working well. So I always think, and we've seen it, is cases with whether it's fertility, fibroids, menstrual issues, GI, asthmas, allergies. We don't treat or cure, but we look for interference to your brain's ability to communicate to that. And nearly 100% of the time, we see interference from the nerves that come out of the lower back, in this case, to the organs of reproduction, GI, and it always follows this pattern. And that's why I was wondering if anybody even sat down and talked about that with you, and if your nervous system was ever analyzed to see if that was creating it. Because if there's pressure on the nerves that tell your reproductive organs to, bleed at a certain level, and there's interference, there's just the communication's off. So you have this symptom of heavy flow, and you go to a doctor saying, "What's going on?" And they try to treat that, or give you products to kind of absorb that, but not go, why is the body doing that to begin with? Oh, there's an interference. And not to oversimplify that, but that's an area that I'd say never gets looked at or rarely gets looked at. And it's where we made the decision of like, that's where we start, period. And then there's always, we've removed interference, but now there's more specialists, or now we're going to look at diet. Now we're going to look at exercise. Now we're going to look at toxicity. Did you ever have anybody look at that?
No. Like I said, I feel like doctors only know what they know and what they're taught in med school or what they've experienced over. So, that's another thing. It's just not enough priority.
Information. Well, and I like the analogy of if you bang your elbow, your fuddy bone, your hand goes numb. Mm-hmm. So, but if you just went to every specialist to look at your hand, they would all think there's nothing wrong with your hand. It must all be in your head. But if they never look down at the elbow, they're missing the cause of the problem because they're just looking at the area that's going numb. Which is why we get so passionate about it, because the more everybody understands that, the more that they can take responsibility for their health. Because the frustration, I've heard that hundreds or thousands of times. I have this issue, whether it's acne or it's menstrual cramps or it's heavy flow or whatever it is, and they just say, here, go on birth control, go on birth control. If that doesn't work, go on this birth control. You get 19 different types of birth control. And then if that doesn't work, then they say, we don't know what to do. Maybe we'll do surgery, or maybe we need to do, I don't know if were they using laser things
So
back
I
then?
had laparoscopic the first
Okay.
time, myomectomy when they cut you open, essentially like a C-section, and then other hysterectomy.
Different
was-
types.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the technology does seem to be getting better,
It
I think.
has, and there's special procedures now, and I went to those specialists to see if I was a candidate for those procedures, but I wasn't.
Really?
I was pretty much told that my body could go into cardiac arrest because of how big and how many that I had, that it wasn't safe for me to try those procedures.
Yeah. Yeah. We're big on just opening the conversation of all the different components of it. What foods mimic estrogen, which chemicals mimic estrogen, which ones bind to different receptors in the body, which I don't even know if scientists know that, because they're coming out with new chemicals so fast that they're adding to hairsprays and lotions and food and dyes. So I think I'm kind of excited for the world to be moving in that direction now.
The other aspect of it is the insurance element. So even if you wanted to see a neurologist or question some of the things, if insurance doesn't pay for it, you're paying out of pocket.
Right.
Yep.
Once again, that's another expense, another stressor, another issue. And most people can't afford to do that.
Right.
I know for myself how much money I spend on my health every year. It's crazy.
Yep.
And like, I'm blessed that I can afford it, but there's so many people who can't. And sometimes I can barely afford it because the cost of everything
Right.
is insane. So I think that if we prioritize it and get it covered to get certain checks done, mammograms, things like that, I think the age for that should be earlier. I don't think it should be 40. But once again, that's, so just normalize
Or
it.
something better. Like, we're pushing for something better than
Thermography.
mammograms.
Yeah, even thermography is detecting this stuff way before, and there's no radiation. Yeah, which is wild. And again, they just don't talk about it, or it's not covered by insurance, so nobody knows it exists. There's advanced blood testing and functional testing. Simple stuff on, like, is your body deficient in certain vitamins and minerals? I don't think anybody would argue. It's like, if it shows up it's deficient in vitamin C, there's going to be consequences. You know what I mean? It's just always the case of what the body needs and what. But nobody does that testing. Food allergy testing, like what you're eating. You may be eating something that on paper is healthy, but for your unique body, it's creating more inflammation every time you eat it. And you're like, I can't figure it out. You show your doctor your diet, and it's like, well, you're eating great, very clean, but they're not testing those sort of things. So I love that you're open in this conversation. I think there needs to be a ton more. And we don't get to talk much health on this show.
We don't talk a lot. Definitely not a lot of
on
period
this show,
health.
not period health, but I think it's just such, we've had so many women, especially in the fertility side of it, get pregnant that couldn't, and only because of moving a bone, taking pressure off of a nerve, and letting their body heal. Like, as crazy as that sounds, but it's just like, on the other side of it, it's like, no, it's super logical. They try all these other things, but if there's just pressure on the nerve that never gets taken care of, it's the one missing piece that doesn't get talked about. Back to this event. Let's talk about that. Pink. So is it formal pink, or can we wear like T-shirts, swim trunks? What do we?
I mean, you can show up in your swim trunks if you like. There's no wrong dress code.
Really?
They do require clothing. So I would say pink, flaunt your style. Some people use it as an opportunity to show their fashion sense.
Yeah.
Be creative. Honestly, it's not a stuffy party. We want you to come and enjoy yourself, and we want everyone to feel welcomed and be able to bond and just like have an amazing time and be there all together, uniting together for healthcare.
Yeah,
So
that's great. Do people get hammered? Like, do you know any stories of people just getting?
people do have
Get
a lot
wild.
of fun.
How many years have you been putting it on for now?
So this is the fourth
year?
coming up. So third to the public, because the first one was just family and friends.
Yeah, nice.
I feel like this is a cause that almost anybody could get on board with. and should get on board with
They
it.
absolutely should. I need more sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cheap to have it at the stadium.
Right.
For
I
sure.
need USC Athletics to help me out. I need all kind of, I'm thankful for the support that I have and the amazing sponsors that we have. We have all 3 hospitals, MUSC, Lexington Medical Center, and Prisma Health, which to me is amazing. And the local businesses that support us as well. Richland County shows their support as well. And so, but as you guys know, running a business and a nonprofit, especially being a new nonprofit, it takes
Right.
so much funding. And the whole point of us is to create that awareness and to create a safe space and elevate women. We started off with our kind of like our pop-up events in the midst of the Rosé Shower. We call it Rosé Resilience. In June, we had a toast to cancer survivors in honor of Cancer Survivor Day. We partner with the American Cancer Society. But no one wants to get together and talk about cancer, so we made it fun, and we made it like a ladies' trivia night. That way we can educate, throw some fun women's trivia in there with Columbia and the Midlands. And we also did candle lighting for cancer survivors and listen to their stories and just kind of create like a more intimate feel. And then in October, we did Empowering Reproductive Health Awareness, and we had an amazing panel of women who have shared their stories, whether surrogacy, failed and for IVF, or successful IVF stories, adoption, et cetera. So it's all about normalizing the conversation, creating that space, elevating women, and creating awareness.
Is there anyone that's really helped you along this road?
I feel like everyone's kind of played a part, like even from the smallest things, like for me, because I don't get paid to do this. This is literally another full-time job that is just
Right.
my passion. It's very important for people. I don't know. I think it's like a calling. It's meant for me to help. Everything that I do in my life, it's driven by helping others. And so when people are sending me messages, when they're saying thank you, or I feel seen, or they're telling me their story. I was literally last month sitting in the mammogram lobby waiting to get my mammogram done, and someone that messaged me is telling me that they were coming to the Rosé Shower and they were bringing their friend who was 28 years old and who was diagnosed with breast cancer and have no family history of it. And like stories like that, of course, move me and can motivate me to continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's powerful. Where else is stuff like this talked about, or where should it be talked about? Is it in schools? Besides what you're doing, I'm 41 years old and have never even heard that this was a thing.
So there's other organizations that do, talk about period poverty. There's the Period Project. There's Revolution Red. It's another new nonprofit. And then I just actually had a meeting with the ladies at USC campus. The students started one called No Period Left Behind. They'll actually be at the Rosé Shower as well. So people are starting to have more conversations. I feel like the Period Project's probably been around longer. They've been great. They also work with legislation and, try to get things changed. So they were a part of helping, the bill get signed so that period products are no longer taxed in the state of South Carolina, and that happened on May 13th. So movements and things like that are big wins.
Yeah.
We just need to continue to move forward with all of these things and normalizing the conversation. So now that you guys know about it, then you can relate and go back and have those conversations. And like how you were talking about your daughter and having those conversations with her, I think it's important to have those conversations with sons too, so they don't feel like, ew, what's that, a pad, or
Right.
or a tampon or things like that. It just helps with making it more
Comfortable, yeah.
How much do you think it would cost to get everybody in our city to have full access to what they need?
That's a good question. You want to try? Like we can.
Well, I'm thinking of a third of young women, you said? Or is it a third
And-
of like high schoolers?
So 1 in 4 students,
1 in 4 students.
and then 1 in 3 women.
And we would probably have to extrapolate that over how many students there are total. And what would be the total cost that you would estimate a student would use in the course of a year?
Well, how many
I've
boxes?
never even.
I don't know how many
Yeah.
boxes.
Even if my
per
wife
year.
wanted me to go get it, I think I would just say, "Can you Instacart that?"
Yeah,
or
I did it once.
I would,
It's
yeah,
a
I
weird-
would
it's
for
a-
sure get the wrong thing.
Well, are you saying like for purposes of like them getting it? There's
Just
so
just
It's
the
like
idea
one
of
box per month, or is it like a box
No.
lasts for
it
3
just
months?
depends. Every woman's different. Like some women's cycle lasts a day
how
or
many
two.
how many come in a box?
It depends.
Oh,
like
yeah, I
maybe
guess they would-
36. It can be 40.
36 in a box,
It depends on the type that you're getting,
Yep.
and yes.
and probably an average of.
You're supposed to change
12.
them how often? Like
Oh my
probably.
God. It depends on
Are we
the
supposed
woman,
to
like,
talk about
that?
like
is
how much
12
you're
per
flowing and things
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
that
Would
all-
12 per cycle be
No.
12 per month be
like,
enough?
especially if it was someone like me who before my hysterectomy,
It might be 30.
I was bleeding
One
a
box.
lot.
Wow.
All right, so one box, and how much would a box cost?
I haven't bought. Well, I buy them, but I buy them in bulk for
Okay.
the rosé shower. I don't buy them like
right.
individually,
Individually?
since I don't have to buy them anymore.
Yeah.
I think like the individual boxes for tampons are about $10.
$10. So it's probably let's say $120 per student per year.
Probably more than that, but
More than that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, $10 a box, one box a month.
No, they're using more than one box.
They're using 2 boxes a month. $20 a month. I'm not being facetious about this. I genuinely
But
don't.
also,
I'm trying to
if they're
I'm trying to get a
using
cost in my head.
Pads that they're using panty line. There's so many different dynamics to it
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
So
Well,
there's
how
preference.
much do you think they would budget in a year? The average person, $200 maybe a year.
Oh no, definitely more than like 200.
400.
More than that too.
What?
You're like, she's laughing at
$500?
y'all.
it's yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
Zero clue. But that. So
I've
the dollar
never
amount's
thought
getting
about
higher.
actually how much I've spent because I literally was buying so many constantly. Before my hysterectomy, I bled from Labor Day to my surgery, which was in November.
Dang.
Like every day.
Wow. So that's
a
thousands
lot.
of dollars for sure.
Yeah. Are you trying to run the numbers on like if there's X amount of women in the
Yeah,
Columbia,
that's what I'm thinking.
and then
If-
you multiply that by
Yes, if
the
there's
cost.
a million students and 30% of them don't have access, that's 300,000 people. And if it's $100 per person, that's $30 million we need
a year.
a year. Or if it's,
Whatever,
$300, it's $90 million a year that we need.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's
Well-
big. We need some help. You need some
I
help
know,
doing
I'll-
this.
We need a
all by
mathematician
yourself.
now.
We need a mathematician.
Well, who's
A
helping you?
CPA.
Is there anybody behind the scenes with you, or are you putting all this on? And
I have
organizing?
my board. I have vendors that we work with that help me too, and honestly, volunteers. We have volunteers for the event, volunteers that help me with certain things, just getting boxes, collections, doing drives. Right now, we're doing a drive, a competition, a collection drive for the Rosé Shower. So the group or organization that collects the most products actually wins a trophy. They're presented with a trophy at the
Sweet.
shower this year. So
Is there any big businesses that are helping you or just churches that you want to shout out?
Lexington Medical Center Foundation, they have collection boxes at every single one of their private practices,
Oh,
which is amazing.
that is nice.
There's lots. If I start, I probably will forget.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, there's some fitness studios that are doing collection drives. There's iVision. There's men clothing stores that are doing them as well. People are doing Amazon lists. So for you, if you're afraid of getting the wrong thing when you go to the store,
Yep.
you can just add it to your cart in Amazon. So there's, honestly, from my parents are pretty much my number one supporters. They have been from day one. My my board, the people have been there since they were
Yeah.
there when I decided to make this a thing.
And it's a
friends.
501c3.
Correct.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we could easily put up a little. We could put them in our clinics. Little
Yeah,
drop.
the hard thing is just how to market it and how to make it
Well, I have
Comfortable.
Story. Yes.
For
well,
I
we
mean,
have
men. You
collection
should see how
boxes
Yeah.
that say on it, like what to bring. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty straightforward. And
or
then
like a
little
money
flyer.
box too, just to like drop some money in.
Yeah.
Would be nice. Because men are I mean, you're getting a nice taste of two men who are well educated and in the health space.
Yes.
And
married.
And married.
daughters.
I have boys, so that helps
boys.
me.
But you can educate them too.
I know. So now, I mean, I'm getting excited about this a little bit. I don't know why. It's weird because I hate blood, like in general. But I think, well, when you were saying like that, like here's what I think about. I think about the embarrassment of what kids are going through, and that like touches me. Of
Yes.
like, wait a minute, you're making a choice to go to school or work or not based on something that you can't control. And are searching, but they're shitty doctors. Maybe not shitty doctors, but their doctors just they're not giving much hope in correcting the cause. So it's like just you keep going down this like tunnel with no light at the end. So like what are
The students that were surveyed, talking about embarrassment, the students that were surveyed said that if the conversation was more had or normalized, or it wasn't like a ill or a thing that people were scared to talk about, they wouldn't feel so embarrassed by it.
Right.
So you have to think of those students that are coming to school. They're getting it from their friends or the teacher or the school nurse. But I know when I was in corporate America, when I wasn't feeling good, I literally would just have to tell my boss, I don't feel good. But the first thing people say when you say that is, you don't look sick, or you look great, or you look good, or, then it's like, okay, now I have, like, it's now I have to try to explain, like, how do I tell my boss that, like, I'm bleeding like crazy or I'm in so much pain. When I had fibroids, sometimes the pain were labor pains. Like, they were giving me, very, very high pain pills for, the pain that I was in. And it wasn't like it was just for the week of my cycle. Like, I maybe had one good week out of a month sometimes. So trying to explain things like that to people, or just, and I get people, I know what they know. So a lot of comments can come across insensitive. Just like when a person says, why aren't you married and why don't you have kids? They don't realize how sensitive that question is. I was at Publix at the seafood counter getting salmon, and I said, one piece of salmon. And she said, just one? And I said, yes, just one. And she said, not two, just one. And she was like, no husband, no boyfriend. Can I just have my one piece of salmon, please?
Jeez, yeah.
And then it didn't stop there. It kept going. You don't want to get married. You don't want to have kids. You don't want to. There's a line behind me. I just want my salmon so I can go.
Right. She's trying to upsell you some extra salmon.
Apparently.
She's taking her job a little too seriously at Publix.
Maybe she has a brother that she's trying to hook up, I guess.
But it didn't stop there. Like,
that
it kept
wild.
going. And she was like, your parents aren't pushing you for kids. I'm like, I'm an aunt. My brother has a child.
Right.
They're good. They're grandparents. Then she kept going. I had to say, I can't have children. You would think that she would have stopped there. She kept going.
No way.
She said, oh, well, you can adopt. There's plenty of children that need to be adopted. Once again, she has no clue of what my situation is or what I'm doing or maybe what I'm working towards. So people just need to be more aware of the comments that they're saying without understanding what people are going through.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I mean, I think that how much this affected your life. Did you journal a lot of this? Like, have you gone back and kind of written, or maybe were writing throughout this on?
My friend Michaela, she's a journalist and she's a writer. She writes for lots of publications, Cola Today and All Is Well. And a lot of times when she's doing articles on me, I will cry. There are some days when I do, and then some days when I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I realize that sometimes because I am being there for everything and, was in survivor mode for so long, I never took the time to kind of deal with my emotions. Maybe my hysterectomy hit me maybe like a year later.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because wasn't aware, and it wasn't the actual hysterectomy. It was the whole journey leading up to it and the continuing journey and the certain things that trigger me. Like there's so many things that trigger me with when I go to the doctor, when I'm getting my blood drawn, just so many different things
Right.
that are triggers for me emotionally and physically.
So I'm curious, what do you do for fun then? Because this is just heavy. And I think it's,
Take the weight off
I
of
think let's
her shoulders for a second.
And I
here.
am curious because as I'm sitting here listening to you, it's such a heavy topic to be in and to be helping people. And I mean, I feel terrible for I had no clue the number of people. So you're seeing it day in and day out, plus your own journey.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go work out? Do you go on trips? How do you get away from it? Do you just go to your corporate job and work double hard there?
But that's stressful too. It's real estate. So I would say Bravo.
Bravo Television.
Oh,
Great. That is
loves
great.
Bravo.
Love Bravo.
Which ones?
Listen, I like The Real Housewives, Southern Charm.
Love
you know.
Southern Charm.
I watch all of them pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I have my Bravo friends that will text while we're watching the shows so I can just deep dive and escape for a moment.
Yep.
You know.
So
That's
you watch
kinda-
them live. You're like, hey, it's
Yeah.
Thursday and
Yeah.
Southern
Or
Charm's
I'll
on.
watch it like, maybe 30 minutes, an hour
Yeah.
later. But yeah. So yeah. And then I'll text her the next day if I'm not, in a
Can
meeting or
you
something.
believe what Craig did?
Right.
I can't believe that you're watching it live. I'm trying to think
Or
of the
did you?
last time. I guess you
What
would
do
watch
you
like
mean?
football live,
Yeah. Golf.
but like golf live. Yeah. Like I remember back in the day, we used to watch the OC in college, and
oh, yeah,
I would go.
I watched the OC.
And we would go meet with our friends and watch it and figure out like what Marissa and Ryan did.
Yeah.
But now that I don't know, commercials just got so irritating. The idea of sitting and they make them so loud. The idea of sitting there with a commercial on and then they blast it
Well,
at you the moment it's on. I can't think of
Well,
anything worse.
During commercial break, I can be texting, I can be
Yeah.
checking emails. I'm a multitasker. It's really hard to shut my brain off. I'm a night owl, so it takes a lot to wind down for me. So, yeah, that or just diving into like a series or something like that is pretty much how I escape. And then, of course, I like traveling, just spending time with my family and friends, doing.
Was your family local? Did you grow up here?
No,
Oh.
I'm a military brat. So
Oh, military.
Grew up all over.
What
Came
about
here
re-
to go to Carolina.
Oh, you did? What did you get your degree in?
Economics.
You did? You
Yeah.
love economics?
I do. It's weird. So I was actually pre-med. I actually wanted to be a doctor.
nice.
So I was a physics major pre-med when I came in.
Oh, not a lot of women in that class. I would imagine, at least not back 20
Not
years
then.
ago.
No. And I wanted to be a pediatrician. And I did the program and shadowed the pediatrician. And once again, everything is fueled by helping others. That's been my whole life. And I literally shadowed a pediatrician, and we had to see a child who had like a heart murmur, and they were telling me about it and the life expectancy for the child. Then after that, we went and saw a little girl, and I had to take her vitals, and the doctor was trying to show me that she had jaundice and to look at her nails. So I was like grabbing her hand, and she was like, "What's wrong with my nails?" And then the parents are just looking at you like, "Fix my child,"
Right.
with all like,
Pressure and all that,
Yes. And then after that, I went into another room and then witnessed the doctor telling their child that their child went brain dead. And so then we went into a conference room, and they're like, "So Deonna, what do you want for lunch?" And I'm just sitting there, I'm like bawling and I'm crying, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's heavy.
So I switched my major.
Yeah.
And went into economics. No bad news there.
Economics, and then I minored in performing arts dance. So that's just how my brain works.
Oh, so you're a dancer.
I'm not anymore.
What kind of moves? Are you afraid that I'm going to ask you to dance? No. Because it did cross my mind. Was it ballet?
Show us something.
It was modern, lyrical, jazz, hip hop, a little bit of ballet.
Nice.
Modern
So
lyrical
you got rhythm.
jazz? Do you know what that means?
No,
No.
but you got rhythm.
You got modern
We know
lyrical
that.
jazz is a new category for me.
So modern, lyrical dance. And then you've seen it. Like do you go to dance performances?
I did go to one this year. And there was some weird, one of the guys at this dance performance I went to, like ripped off his shirt at the end. He had this
Why
shirt
would he
underneath.
do that? I had to.
It was a wild
Hey,
day.
it was me. Is who he's describing. I was in a dance competition this year, and I'm not a
Okay.
dancer, not at all. In fact, probably the hardest thing I've done in my life, and I've birthed 2 kids.
So what kind of dance competition was this? Like Dancing with the
he's
Stars?
pregnant
It
with
was. It
Okay.
was for charity, and I practiced for months, and but the only thing I couldn't practice was the ripping my shirt off thing at the end, because I had an undershirt that had like faces on it. It was funny, and I was like,
He
do I?
didn't think it was funny.
No, he loved it.
Oh, yeah.
He
It was
threw
funny.
he was throwing his underwear up on the stage for me.
No,
but
I was cheering.
did it.
No, I was cheering.
I did a spin move, and then I got like stuck. I like pulled, and I didn't pull hard enough, so I had to do it again. And then that was the end.
But I did
Nothing
see
too
a lot of
exciting.
dance. That was one of my first dance performances that I've been to.
You should go to more.
I like hip hop
Where
stuff.
are there other dance performances? I guess.
The Kroger Center has
Oh.
performances. I think Swan Lake is tomorrow.
But is that like ballet? That's like ballet stuff.
Yeah, but they have other ones too, like other.
I'd
types.
watch like a hip hop battle or something like
ballet
that. That'd be
would
cool.
sound. I don't think I could watch
Ballet be tough. Ballet's tough.
But you know how they pop? I think it's called popping. Have you know what I mean by that?
I
Like
think
they
so,
move,
yeah.
they can move and then stop their body instantly and then shift it in a different way.
Yeah,
That's
that's what you
amazing.
like. Okay.
yeah.
and I like
Yeah, like a
and I like
battle.
break dancing. So I've
Okay.
tried that a few times.
You tried it.
Accidentally at midnight.
Just like spin, yeah,
After
just like spin
cocktails.
around as much as you can.
Okay.
Yep.
But modern lyrical jazz,
Put on your
still
list to
don't know
learn
what
this
that
year.
means. I'm gonna have to
It's
Google that
not
after
one
this.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of foot movement is what I'm picturing.
Yeah, there's a lot of arm movement and body movement too.
So with modern
Head
and
movement.
lyrical, you're barefoot. Yeah.
Oh, you're
Oh.
barefoot.
Is it kind of gross if like tons of people have been on the stage in
Yeah.
front of you?
Yeah. Your feet afterwards are gross.
Honestly, that was like the hardest part.
That's what you'd think about.
No, that was the hardest part of jujitsu for me. Is I was like, I don't want to go barefoot, where like everybody else is, just because it's. But then you think like, how many dancers go before you barefoot out there?
Yeah.
Doesn't bother you.
No.
All right.
When's the last time you danced?
Oh, it's been a long time other than just fun TikToks, having fun.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, you're a TikTok dancer.
No, I haven't done one in years.
Yeah.
Really? What were you doing? Were you big in TikTok when it came out?
No.
Not really. I feel like
I'm
our
very boring
generation.
on social
Or
media.
I was before. Yeah.
Yeah, our generation missed that. You're Instagram. You're big on Instagram.
I post more on Instagram. It's easier.
Yeah.
But
Now-
I'm not. I don't have a huge.
You're not big
following
on
or-
social media. Oh.
No, I like it, but I'm just more like, I just post random stuff or
Yeah.
my day, or it varies. I don't think I'm super exciting.
So yeah, I guess what's a day in the life look like? Are you mostly doing realtor stuff, showing properties, making calls, driving your car? That
Yeah, that
Maybe a
and
smoothie in
problem
there.
solving and
Sending docu-signs.
yeah.
yeah,
lot of that.
paperwork and all
Yeah.
of that stuff, and yeah, meetings, networking, problem solving.
Yeah.
90% of it.
What type of real estate do you like to sell? Land, building, commercial,
Residential.
residential?
Yep.
Nice.
What's your feeling on the current housing market?
It's picking up. I think people are kind of just like on the fence, waiting to see what happens. But I tell all my buyers, like, if you find something you love it, go ahead and go after it. If interest rates drop, then refinance.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the move.
That's because I remember in 2020, everybody thinking there's going to be a bubble and it's going to pop and everything's going to drop. And now we're 4 years later and it's just
It
taken
just
off.
keeps getting higher, and people are moving here, and they're fine with paying the prices that we have. So
Yeah. South Carolina's so hot right now. Like,
it's,
not temperature. Just
Yeah.
people love it.
they do. Like the past few closings I've had have been people from different states.
It's the number one state in the country to move to right now, or I forget what the thing is, but more people are moving here than any other state.
Per capita, I think it was.
Yeah,
Which is it's a cool problem to have for
Yeah, it's
our state.
affordable, and we have multiple hospitals. We have, Fort Jackson, and we have the universities. So
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. We moved here from Canada, and we love it here.
you do,
Yeah, and I meet a lot of people who moved here,
yeah,
and it's the same thing. I'm like, the people who don't appreciate how awesome it is here are the people who were just born and raised here. But the people who moved here are saying, wait, there's not much traffic. The cost of living is fairly low. The weather is amazing most of the year. Why wouldn't you love it? You have access to the beach and all
The
these cool places, the mountains,
everything's so close.
big cities, small cities. You have everything you need right here.
Yeah. People are always like, when I say, oh, well, we might run into traffic when we're showing at this time. And they're like, we're from DC. This isn't
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Right.
okay.
So, and do you want to talk about your real estate stuff too at all? So people should go follow you on Instagram, right, for your Cola Rosé. But it's
Absolutely. And then come February 8th,
February
Yeah, we
8th.
didn't
they
get
need
your
to sign.
ticket,
Get their
purchase your
ticket.
tickets, only $75.
Are they on sale now?
Yes,
like
they're
people
on
can
sale
buy them
now.
now.
Go buy now.
What day of the week is it?
Saturday.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it would
From
be a
3 to
Wednesday.
7.
Yeah. So you can just day party.
It's like you
much
could get
easier to
it's almost like a
drink during the
Valentine's.
day.
Ooh, it should be
Yeah.
a Valentine's. That's where you take your wife.
Pre-Valentine's.
Yeah.
Yep, love that.
Okay, some women come and make it a girls' night, and then some come with their husbands or boyfriends or significant
Any
others.
single men going to this?
There are. 'cause
Really?
They're outnumbered by
Smart.
women.
That's what I would say. That's a smart venue.
That
to
is
go
a
to.
They're
good move.
Outnumbered. I have several guys who have told me, Deonna, you're smart. You have these women, all these women, and they're beautiful women in this one place.
Yep.
The security guards, because for the stadium, I was thanking them after the event last year, and I was like, thank you so much for being here. And they're like, yeah, we want to come back, but we don't want to be working. We want to be like here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, come on.
I was gonna say they
That
would
is a good
volunteer for
move.
that.
Yeah, if a guy that's single should be at
They just
you should
don't
have 4
understand what to
Pilates
do.
studio
Yeah.
memberships. You should be at this event every year. I mean, there's just so many different places to go. It's harder for women though. There's like
You got to go to golf courses.
yes,
yeah.
I think that's
You
the
go to
move.
golf courses
Golf
if you're a
courses.
Where else
I don't know.
do we go?
I don't know where else we go.
Gyms with mirrors so you could flex in
Yeah,
front of
if
them.
you go to like a CrossFit gym, that's
Okay.
a good spot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we could market for women. We should start like a for women marketing to find men company.
We just have it's
Like
like, a
local.
Yeah,
match,
there's
like
no
a matchmaking.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
matchmaking company in Columbia, is there?
I don't think so. Maybe we do that. We've talked about like doing a not
Like a dating show.
yeah,
of
like
some sort.
Bachelorette or something like that dating
Well,
show.
so there's several people who want me to do an auction.
That'd be great. Auctioning off women.
For what?
Men
Wait, what do you mean?
for a
Oh,
fundraiser.
like at the yeah.
for the for the
Yes.
Just
Yes.
like for a date or for like
Yeah.
an overnight?
like
That'd
they're
be great.
already
An overnight.
not overnight. Oh my god.
An overnight
Like
stay
a
with
date.
a guy.
So like for instance, like if a restaurant wanted to donate a date,
That'd be great.
it's already like, you already know what you're
Yeah.
you don't have to be
Yes.
scared. You already know,
Yes.
hey, we're going on a date here at this restaurant at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a cool fundraiser.
Do you know who'd be great for that? Is Rami Shalabi.
He's a sponsor.
Is he?
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll be there then.
The next step then is just get him to auction himself out.
Yeah. He's been a sponsor since the second year.
Really?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Shout out Rami.
You know what I had a question about? What so the women that don't have access to stuff, what were they substituting or what were they doing besides staying home? Like say they had to go somewhere. What were like things that they would use?
I don't know all the details. I mean, I've heard of certain things that people use to substitute products. They're not good.
Not good.
No. But yeah, so that could be sitting on towels. That could be, using other things or creating other methods
Right.
to try to stop it. Yeah.
Like napkins or stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
It's like what would they even do?
I'm shocked at how expensive it is. I don't think, I mean, obviously I've never like looked into it.
There's just a lot of hard stuff women got to do.
Being a woman is very hard.
It is.
The hard part for men is like if we get a cold or something, it's so painful for us.
Life and death.
Yes. If I have a stuffy nose, if I'm 90%, I don't think I'm going anywhere or doing anything.
Bedtime.
Honestly,
Yeah.
until I'm back to 100.
Women live with like a constant headache,
Yes.
pain somewhere.
Yes.
It's wild.
Hormone fluctuations that are like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way your body is.
Yeah, there's a doctor, Karen Ting. She wrote a book. It's called "It's Not Hysteria," and it's pretty much just telling women you're not crazy. The things that you're feeling and the things that you're going through, you know, you're not crazy for feeling those things and thinking those things. I love that book. I actually raffle it off at every event, at the Rosé Resilience events, because it's so educational. There's a chapter on all women's healthcare topics. And whether you're just kind of wanting to browse and learn or just specifically, you know, read certain chapters, it's a really good book.
Good stuff.
All right. And how can people support you other than buying tickets? Everybody needs to go buy tickets for February 8th.
Sponsorships, donations, volunteering,
If people
collection
want,
drives.
yeah, like a box, they just create the box, or do you guys have boxes or signs?
We get them from the Peer Project, and then I actually ran out of those, so I had to order plain boxes from Amazon. But we're actually working on trying to get our own boxes created in the next couple of months, so that we'll have our own boxes and be able to fill them, and you know, people that want to do collections will be able to bring them to them. So a printing company would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for being on
Thank
here.
you
This is a
having
very
me.
interesting topic. I think everyone will learn a lot from it.
Thank you for having me.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.